Greetings, NABSE members and friends. I am Michael McFarland, the current president of the National Alliance of Black School Educators, NABSE. As our nation prepares to welcome Joe Biden as the 46th president of the United States and Kamala Harris as a historic vice president, the first ever female African-American and Southeast Asian American to do so, NABSE is poised to welcome their leadership in the ongoing struggle to educate all Americans effectively. In fact, NABSE has been prepping for this moment since our 2019 conference in Dallas, when a new Legislative Priorities Committee was established. With completion of the NABSE Declaration of Educational Imperatives for the 21st century, the Legislative Priorities Committee has met and exceeded expectations in its first year of operation. That is why, as NABSE accelerates the pace of our Legislative Committee's work in 2021 and beyond, we are inviting key members of the Biden-Harris transition team to participate in our 48th annual conference, a virtual 3-day event via Zoom. It will convene December 3rd through the 5th, 2020. Invitations have been extended to U.S. Representative Cedric Richmond of Louisiana, a co-chair of the Biden-Harris transition team, Dr. Tony Allen, the president of Delaware State University, and a member of the transition team's advisory committee, and Dr. Linda Darling-Hammond, the head of the Biden-Harris Education Transition Team, who also serves as the chair of the California State Board of Education. Now, last but not least, since her commitment to public education is now on display and a national model, we have invited First Lady-elect Dr. Jill Biden to bring greetings during the conference. After nearly 50 years as an organization, in this perfect storm of a teachable moment in our nation, NABSE must elevate its visibility exponentially. NABSE is compelled to lend its perspective to the Biden-Harris administration, given their forthright commitment to racial equity. We're confident that the declaration is a prescriptive document that will be of considerable interest to legislative leaders, as it will serve as the agenda for an in-depth discussion with NABSE leaders. When it was established last year, the new Legislative Priorities Committee was charged with 2 goals. 1, to engage NABSE members and allies as active participants in the development and approval of NABSE's official positions on critical education issues for the present and the foreseeable future. And number 2, to inform legislative and policy decisions in education matters impacting African American learners, schools, and communities at the local, state, and the national level. The committee's first task was to create a concept that would capitalize on the expertise within NABSE, but also promote engagement and participation by a wide range of NABSE members. Teams of thought leaders within NABSE were recommended and invited to write framing papers about the major focus areas that undergird K-12 education, and ultimately to stimulate dialogue among the membership. The focus area topics were achievement, assessment, compensation, curriculum, instruction, educator preparation, funding, and governance. Now, despite the fact that COVID-19 disrupted everything in all of our lives, the community and the committee regrouped, redoubled its commitment, and persisted through the spring and summer with a series of Zoom calls on each topic. Thought leader teams refined and rank ordered the input they received, and then extended the opportunity for NABSE members across the nation to affirm or challenge the priority list in October. Participation in both summer and fall Zoom-up sessions was promoted by a 2-member implementation team. NABSE is indebted to all of them for their commitment and will recognize them during the conference. Now, with input from NABSE members across the U.S. and the diaspora, the critical education issues resulted in the development and the release of the NABSE Declaration of Education Imperatives for the 21st century. The declaration specifies 20 legislative priorities and 39 educational imperatives across the 8 focus areas. These include strategies to address COVID-19, challenges with remote teaching and learning, improving universal access to technology, proposals of digital learning essentials, social and emotional considerations, curriculum enhancements, funding, and compensation inequities. New initiatives such as a National Teacher Institute and an Urban Leadership Academy are also envisioned. Clearly, the declaration has created the foundation for the action plans that NABSE will design essentially to build K-12 education back better, to empower and enable urban schools to function more effectively and better serve students of color, African American students in particular. Disruptive legislation can and should expedite funding for implementation of pilot projects, as well as incentivize the philanthropic community and corporations to partner with NABSE. Now, Dr. Patricia Ackerman, a decades-long NABSE member and past NABSE president from 1987 to 89, was appointed to chair the Legislative Priorities Committee, and she did an awesome job. The leadership team includes Aisha Davis, an elected member of the Texas State Board of Education, and NABSE's executive director, Dr. Atiba Weezer. Going forward, any realistic dialogue about public schooling in America must include new voices, especially practitioners who are steeped in the issues, the ambiguities, and confounding factors, as well as the fallacies of theory and data-driven ironies in education. NABSE stands in the authenticity of our truth as African-American educators, superintendents, school board members, curriculum directors, principals, teachers, professors, consultants, parents, and allies. As children, we were the ones who persisted in pursuit of our goals despite our residence in communities that may not have welcomed us. Attendance at schools that may not have been designed to nurture our aspirations, staffed by teachers that may have been untrained to comprehend the composition of our family. The contradictions in our lived experiences are the bleaching of our history. So who then has greater authority to address the challenges of educating learners who look like us, indeed are us, than us? Who understands more clearly how to navigate systems replete with shortfalls, blind spots, and low expectation? Who knows with certainty how long odds can be overcome and long shots can make their mark? Without question, we do. Contrary to the wild-held beliefs about public education in America is not a liability. As a matter of fact, in most U.S. communities, public schools are thriving. Now, the glaring exception to this truth is those U.S. communities populated predominantly by people of color. Since the challenges are not obscure and the remedies are within our grasp, as a nation, we must muster our collective will to not only meet this moment, but change the narrative about public education once and for all. As an untapped resource, NABSE is stepping forward at this pivotal moment to amplify our collective voices, to assert our authority as professionals and advantage the next level of leaders of our nation with clarity and intentionality regarding issues of public education. Now, simultaneously, as both victims and victors, we are uniquely qualified to do so. We're also blessed and cursed with the double consciousness, the two-ness described by W.E.B. Du Bois, that affords us the particular advantage of being both a mirror and a lens. I invite you to join us at the 48th Annual NABSE Conference, December 3rd through the 5th, and learn more about the NABSE Declaration and plan to join one of the 4 collaboratives that will convene in January of 2021. If you've not already done so, visit NABSE.org and register today, because an active part of NABSE's future depends on you as we move the Declaration of Educational Imperatives forward from here to reality. NABSE, we ask you to vote. You voted. You made your voice heard. Now we're asking you to act, to help us to impact the future and future legislation. If not you, then who? And if not now, then when? NABSE, it is time to rise and time to act. Register today